Right, in this session, we're going to look at business modeling, just as an overview of the new functionality that we've just added to BimlFlex. And really the goal for us is to create a model-driven data warehouse automation. So obviously with that, we want to obviously capture and start it from doing the model-driven from a business data point of view. And the reason for that is, if you're working in data warehousing, you know that you'll be working with multiple source systems, and source systems will change over time, as your business requirements change. The development teams will make different changes to source systems. You'll be replacing source systems with different source systems. So you really wouldn't want to start building your data warehouse based on a source system, right? Because that will mean that you'll have a source-driven data warehouse. So what you want to start doing is creating a business model. So talk to the business and really understand how the business processes work, and then try and model that, which is the side a bit on the side here. You really want to get into this space over here where you really are talking to the business about what do they call things, and not merely focusing on what is it called in the source system. There are a number of different modeling methodologies out there, and if you're looking at data dimensional modeling, you might have heard of the BEAM methodology, which really talks about capturing requirements in a collaborative way using business language and stuff. Obviously ensemble modeling, data vault, you'll have a different approach to modeling. This really doesn't you can configure our business modeling in any way that you want it to configure. So if you're focusing on BEAM or ensemble logical modeling or another modeling, we want to make sure that the process of capturing the business requirements or business entities and business concepts is as easy, as simple as you want to use. You're really working on that sort of who did what, when, where, how many of it did it, why did it do it, so that you can have really good discussions with your business. Now, what does that look like? Well, if you're sitting down talking to your business and really saying, oh, we're trying to build this data warehouse for you, but first we want to just kind of get a feel for what are you talking about. The business may start off with a simple sentence at the top. There says a customer buys an ice cream in a store from an employee, so they're buying a specific brand of ice cream or whatever the case may be. And out of this, you really want to look at capturing sort of nouns and verbs. And if you were to do this manually, you would tend to do this on pen and paper, post-it notes on a board, or you may have some technology that you're going to use. Key thing here is to capture everything that the business is saying. Don't limit it. Don't sort of just list the names. Right? So the goal of the first process is just to capture as many business concepts as you can, and just get it down. So we very much focus our business modeling in exactly the same format, where the first goal is just to capture as much content as we can. Then we'll categorize it, and eventually we'll actually put it into a relationship model. So what I'm going to do is give you a quick demo of how we've built this in BimlFlex. I'm going to go over the configuration of the modeling, how you would set your preferences, adding subjects and models and, other kind of metadata that you'll use before you start the modeling. We'll go into the business modeling side of things and capturing your concepts in the next video. But for now, let's head over to BimlFlex and let me show you how easy it is to do business modeling. So this is BimlFlex, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to not focus on any of the sort of other things like creating customers and versions and all that kind of stuff. All that technical stuff is covered in other presentations and videos. This is the dashboard here, the BimlFlex dashboard, and you can get to the business modeling straight from the dashboard, or you can go to the link here. So really, let's start looking at the business modeling. When you get in the first time, the video that you're watching now, you'll probably see it over here, and then there'll be another one there for the introduction or the walkthrough. So the first thing you want to do at this business modeling level is just configure your modeling, your preferences, your model preferences. So if I click over here, there are two modeling processes that we focused on, but we've made it so that you can customize it to whatever categories you may. If you're in a certain sector, different entity types may be relevant to you. So there's the ensemble logical modeling one, which is taught by the Genesee Academy, Remco and Hans and those folks. And then you have the party role model, which John Giles has written a book, I think it's called Elephant in a Fridge, and he discusses how you would capture your business ontology or your business concepts using that approach, where you are breaking it up even into a further one. So for me, the key differences between the two is this one has fewer entity types, whereas this one is a little bit more entity types. It's even it's a more granular level, so you can add more things and categorize it. However, let me go over to entity types here. So as you can see here, I've got event, person, place, thing, other, which is based on the ensemble logical model. So you can pick either one of these as your starting point. And once you've picked it, you can go into entity type. So just for the purpose of explanation, I'm going to choose party role, save that, and then go into entity types, where I now have all of the entity types here. We'll look at matrix enabled in the walkthrough, but effectively you now have the ability here to say, you know, what are the entity types? Do I want it on the first row, the second row? What color do I want to associate with the entity when I'm adding a card there? These tends to be a little bit closer to what you would do in ensemble modeling or data vault modeling, where green would represent what would be in that place a link or a relationship, and blue would be a business concept or a hub. But for the purposes, you can change these colors. These are just our default colors. You can also go and change the icons. You know, we have a list of icons here that we've kind of pre-named. We may be looking at adding custom icons later on, but effectively we've done this. Once we're in this place here, I'll just save that. Again, you can move them around. You can, you know, move this one above that one, etc. So you control how you want to see your business or your modeling surface. Then we have things like business types and business classification. This is just created for you to add more context to your business metadata. So to give you an idea here is I can add a type, and I'm just going to call this type is, let's just say, account code. And what you have here, and I'll tab out of that. So you can create business types and business classifications, and you can choose to have them available in both the model space, the entity, the attributes, and relationship. So to give you an idea here, entity would be like a table, attribute would be a column, right? Relationship would be obviously the relationship. So you can say, oh, I'm adding this business type, and it's only I only want to use it when I'm looking at relationships, or I only want to use it when I'm looking at entities or models. And I'll save this. And then we have business classifications. Again, the same approach. You could add one here called, let's just say, GDPR. Which would be a hot topic. So, and then for GDPR, I was like, well, actually, I don't have a model that's GDPR. I may have entities, attributes, or relationships. So at this stage, I'm only going to say I have sensitive data for entities and attributes, or even just entities if I want. And I'll save this. So that's kind of gives you the modeling overview. Those are the, I suppose, administration tasks you would do when you do the business modeling. Once you've done that, you actually would start modeling, right? So let's just say we want to create a sales model. I can go and create subject areas like, you know, this is the HR subject area, or the sales subject area, or the whatever the case may be. You know, you can create your subject areas. You can also just start modeling by creating let's just say I'm going to create a sales model here. A subject is compulsory, so I have a subject here, but you can add another subject here called, you know, anything orders. And this is just that if you want to have multiple smaller models, which is probably a recommendation, that instead of creating one massive model, you start by creating smaller, more focused modeling sessions of your business and saying, let's model this process or this process or this process, and then bring them all together. And then even at the model level, you will inherit all of the entity types that you've chosen. So if you're, you know, if you're doing ensemble logical model, you have it. So for this model, you can go say, you know what, this one I don't have this and I don't have that, so I can go and remove the location and I can remove the resource, because in this model I don't have those types of things. And then again, I can at the model level, I can say, okay, well, this is obviously, this doesn't make sense, but okay, now I want to add a new one here, another type here, and I can go and add that again at this point here, or a classification, you know, add a classification here. So again, those things are pretty good. As you can see here, I can't see the GDPR classification because I said that that's only relevant to entities and attributes, so I can't add here. And then once I'm done here, I can create the sales, and again, now I see my design surface, and now you can start adding business concepts. So we've obviously created this to easily add your context. So think about this as cards. So I'm just going to go and say, okay, well, you know, let's just look at something like an event. Okay, there's a sales event, right? And I'll just hit enter and I go into the next one. You can also add another one here and hit enter, and it'll take you to the next one, and just move these around between things like this. So pretty easily done. But we'll cover that in the walkthrough of how we actually do all the modeling. Thank you for watching.